Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Sandwich 3000 here in Sandwich-Vort. I'm very attractive, and with me, as always, is the Yosemite Sam of backgammon, Michael Magus.
Ooh, Yosemite Sam references. I like it. So we're doing things a little bit different today because the first 8 minutes of the race was not recorded. Martin. So we had to have Cole come back and provide us with this lovely edited format for us to comment on. There is the grid before you, before your eyeballs right now. Max Simmons and Zach Martin in the Hondas on the pole and second place, respectively. Dan French and Jeremy Reeder on row 2. Row 3 is Paul Riccobeni and Aaron Alexander. Row 4, Marcelo Letelier and Michael Magus. Row 5, Mark Spolsky and Simeon Naku. And all alone in the back row there is Wayne Hutchison. So this is the 3D Speed Series from Zandvoort, and the cars are off. Making their way down to the start-finish lane.
Are they
that
quite
volume
far
down a little bit. Well, here we go. Forming up. We're using the free start tool for this particular race because Zandvoort has a tendency to give some drive-through penalties that are not entirely fair. I believe that is Simeon Naku starting from the pit lane in his BMW. And here we go. Bad start there for Dan French. He's getting swallowed up by the field with Paul Riccobeni moving alongside him, along with Jeremy Reeder. A little bit of bumping there between Riccobeni and French. And in the meantime, it is the Hondas off to the races up front with, I believe, Zach Martin ahead of Max Simmons. Their cars do not look that different, but I believe the one with the green highlights is Max, and the one with the no highlights is Zach. So I believe that is Zach Martin in the lead. We'll know for sure when we hit a timing line. And there we go. Zach Martin is indeed the leader. Max Simmons in second place, followed by Dan French. Or pardon me, followed by Jeremy Reeder, then Dan French. Then we have Paul Riccobeni, Marcel Letelier, Aaron Alexander, Michael Magus, Mark Sobalski, Wayne Hutchison, and Simeon Naku, who started from the pits and is quite a ways off the back end of this field.
Is it just because he likes drag racing through the pit lane?
Oh,
is that what's going on?
Dan French off the track and bouncing around. I don't know why he started from the pit lane, actually. Simeon, if you could leave in the comments below. What happened? So French has dropped back behind Riccobeni and Reeder, as well as Letelier, and is under pressure from, I believe that is Aaron Alexander. Alexander overtaking Dan French there, who appears to have gotten a bad run onto the start-finish straight. Reeder continues on in third place. And there's contact in the background. That was Michael Magus getting spun around by Dan French as they battled over 7th spot.
Well, now you're just snitching on everybody.
I mean,
he did this, he did that.
That's our job as commentators.
Wow. You're probably accurate on that one.
Magus now at not quite the back of the pack. I think he's still ahead of Naku, but he is now behind Wayne Hutchison as well as Dan French. And Mark Spolsky in the very stylish Lexus moves up into 7th position. Golf to the front.
That's a McDonald's car. I saw the logo on the front and on the back.
I didn't even realize I had the McDonald's car.
That doesn't count. It's a different kind of oil.
I'm now wondering if it is actually a McDonald's sponsorship or if that's a different company with a similar logo.
I would think not, because McDonald's will sue the shit out of you if you use
It probably is a McDonald's. I haven't really paid attention to it. I really just kind of looked at the side and saw the Rothko sponsorship and went with that. Honestly. Now you're making me want to change liveries.
You kids and your Big Macs and
Magus overtaking
well,
Wayne Hutchison there for 9th position. Old school rivalry, Wayne Hutchison versus Michael Magus. We're going back in time.
Mike's about to pull a brake. You just spin him into the wall.
Dan French overtaking Mark Sobalski further up. That's 7th place for the Ferrari driver. Side-by-side action there. And there is Magus' teammate, Paul Riccardo Riccobene, running in 4th position at the moment. In his Monster Energy Audi R8 Evo II, also sponsored by Skechers.
They are some sort of an art company.
With
the sketching.
I mean, to a certain degree, yes. I mean, it's nice whenever a car gets put in that has sponsors that I don't have to look up to figure out what they are.
It's true. McDonald's is pretty easy. But it is also fun to just, figure that everything's a dick pill.
Well, I mean, a lot of them are dick pills, to be completely honest.
Excellent.
There's a lot of dick pills in autosports. I'm not sure if we have any cars in the field today that are dick pill sponsored. I think we are dick pillless in this particular case. So the Hondas still lead. Reeder leading the silver class. Riccobene, Letelier, Alexander, French, Mark Sobalski, the lone amateur in their field today. So automatic win for him. So Card A. Simeon Naku is closing the gap from the back, so he'll play a role at some point. We'll have a pit stop here as well over the course of this 40-minute race. A requirement to change tires is in play, but there is no requirement for anything else. No driver swap, no fuel change, no fuel refueling. Although I've always said this, if you go back to the ACC pit guide video that I did for the ESR channel, always refuel because it's a 30-second pit stop regardless. It's a minimum pit stop time, so you are dealing with the same amount of time in the pits with a little bit extra fuel. I'm expecting people to probably make their pit stops halfway through today's race because for those who are unaware, of course, Zandvoort very heavily left front wearing track, heavy left front to load, very hot tire, overheated, inflated as well. So you're dealing with a case where you're really not going to want to unevenly use the tires. You're going to want to utilize half and half. And I do believe Max Simmons is playing rear gunner actually at this point for Zach Martin. He gave up the lead really easily way back on lap 1, and he's made no move to overtake since. So he's the championship favorite in that Honda team, having, I believe, won both the first 2 races. Might as well do a little championship rundown. As we speak, indeed he has. He leads the way with 90 points. Aaron Alexander's on 65. Marcelo Letelier, 64. 61 for Dan French. Those are the 4 kind of candidates in the championship. And Zach Martin, of course, unfortunately had a technical failing at Silverstone, wound up DNFing as somebody has gone off. Big plume of dirt there, but I cannot tell who it was. In the team's championship, it's Overclock Racing HPD, which is the team of Max Simmons and Zach Martin Hondas, leading the way with 90 points. 77 points for WRT Motorsports, Michael Magus, Paul Riccobene, and the absent Oscar Tan. He is having some driver problems. Followed by 73 points for 905 Racers, consisting of Dan French and Robert R. Zumanian. And in 4th place on 68 points, Lex Us Pass, which is Connor Costantini and Mark Sobalski. At this point, I believe we are going to flip on over to the actual recording? Maybe? Have we been given a dud video? I'm a little concerned right now as to what's going on here. There we go. Now we're up. Black zone there on the changeover. Zach Martin still leads. Simmons, Reeder, Riccobeni, Letellier, Alexander, French, Cebulski, Magus, Hutchison, and Naku. Silver championship, by the way, being led by Connor Costantini, who is absent today. So we're going to have a new leader in that regard because he was only 1 point ahead of Wayne Hutchison and only 2 points ahead of Oscar Tan and only 4 points ahead of Michael Magus. Jeremy Reeder also in that battle. And in the Bronze Championship, Mark Cebulski will probably move up 30-8 over smooth criminal Robert Arzumanian as we head to Nürburgring, Imola, Monza, and Barcelona to finish off the season. Zachary Martin still in the lead. Absent in Spa-Francorchamps, and of course had technical difficulties at Silverstone, so he's got a big fat 0 on the board. Along with Matt Higgs, the only 2 drivers not to score this season so far. And doing well today, showing his pace. Paul Riccobeni going a bit wide there off the last turn.
Wow, you're just gonna body shame Paul like that?
It was location, not body.
Sure. Paul, he's calling you fat.
Paul's a very skinny man, so I can't call him fat. At least if his MMA fighter's proportions are correct, because he's a flyweight, or not a flyweight, a featherweight, and is like, I want to say like 6 feet tall. So
17 feet tall, weighs 32 pounds.
It's like 5'11", 6 feet tall, I think, and fights down at 145. So I cannot body shame. At least not in a fat sense. I can call him skinny.
Doubles his weight every time he eats a sandwich.
He is much smaller than either of the voices that you hear right now. Myself and Mr. Byron. And chance to pimp it. Contact me if you want to have a fighter in the sim.
Correct.
We can make that happen. Jeremy Reeder's got a fighter in the sim. Paul Riccobeni's got a fighter in the sim. I think they're the only ones aside from me in this race that have fighters in the sim.
I have 2 fighters in the sim. Both of them are named Fedor Emelianenko.
Well, you have yourself, and then you have your brother. Then you have Randy Bella, and you have Mr. Boyce.
Bad boys. What you gonna do?
And of course, the complete creation of your imagination, Dimitri Zongawa.
I think that was a joint project.
Mostly you.
Fair enough.
I was just kind of the sandpaper to kind of fit it into an MMA mold. The concept and the idea is mostly yours.
That is probably accurate.
He keeps getting hurt in the sim, actually, which is disappointing. Not overly surprising. We did make a very stupid fight. Kind of a Tony Ferguson of Africa deal.
Dang.
Zach Martin still leading the way. Max Simmons, Reeder, Riccobeni. These 4 have largely pulled away from the pack. Marcelo in the background there in the Nissan is kind of on his own in 5th place. Alexander in 6th is kind of on his own. French is kind of on his own. There is a good battle going on between Cebulski and Magus, but the camera has not elected to look that direction as of yet. We're sticking with the leaders.
As well you should.
Oh, we should. I mean, we got 4 cars in contention for the win here. All very close together as they head through the Audi S again. The only question really is that the theory is Max Simmons in 2nd place is actually just being rear gunner to Zach Martin. So the question is, if he were to hit the front, could he just vanish? Could he just do Max Simmons things?
No, illegal.
In some states.
In states such as confusion and trepidation.
Still waiting on the first blink on the pit stop. Everyone has to make one for tires. But I don't think we'll see any probably for another good 6 minutes. I think this is one of those races where there's not a lot of overcutting or undercutting that's really at play. We ride on board with Max Simmons in his green highlighter race suit. You too can have the green highlighter race suit, but you got to give me your race suit details so I can add it to the intro list. That is kind of the annoying thing, is that there's with Assetto Corsa Competizione, when you use a custom entry list, everything from the player's profile gets just like canceled out. So like, for example, the flags get canceled out, the race suits, the helmets. So everything has to be built from scratch again, which is kind of annoying. And
it is
kind of pointless. It really feels like that really shouldn't have been a thing in the entry list, but it is. And that's why everyone has identical race suits in this series, except for Mr. Max Simmons. I might put myself in for a custom suit for the next round, actually. That would probably be nice.
Do the one that makes you look like Ghost Rider and then your head's on fire the entire time.
Well, that I can't do. I mean, when I say custom, I mean it's a bunch of preset suits.
Well, that sounds boring. I don't want none of that.
But you can do different colors and stuff. So
give Max the Hello Kitty outfit. I'm
gonna build myself a golf race suit.
Very nice.
That'll be the plan. That will be the plan. Magus has overtaken Sobalski. He's up into 7th place. And Aaron Alexander is our first pit stopper. Listen to the dulcet sounds of the Honda NSX Evo.
It sounds like a wombat giving birth backwards.
And you would know this how?
I wouldn't, but I've been told.
The Hondas are pulling away again as Reeder and Riccobeni are squabbling over 3rd place. Paul Riccobeni has had a rough season. It's one of those things that like probably feels like it should be way better than it's been. Picked up an 8th place at Silverstone after some contact and some damage with Zach Martin, and also some mistakes of his own, and then had a drive-through penalty at Spa-Francorchamps, which that's a long-ass penalty. I'll tell you that right now. And that limited him to 10th place, so he's in 7th place in the overall standings. And it feels like he should probably be a little bit higher. Running in 4th spot.
You won't get high?
Should make up some ground today, though. Connor Costantini, who's ahead of him in the standings, is absent from today's race. So he'll overtake him, I think, and probably should also nip past Mark Sobalski into the top 10. Although Sobalski does continue to absolutely dominate the Bronze Cup.
They actually get a cup.
I should look into preparing some
cups. Like a teacup.
Mm-hmm. A bronze teacup. I was actually buying a cup over at the grocery store yesterday. Just a cup to put my... So, for those unaware, I grind my teeth like a motherfucker. And as a result, I have a night guard. So, and the night guard's got to be cleaned and soaked and stuff. And... I wanted a cup just to specifically use for that. So something really, really cheap and just like kind of big enough to fit the mouth guard. And I'm looking for a cup at the store, and I'm like, okay, this looks about the right size, and it was. And I'm looking down at the bottoms, and like, no barcode, no barcode, no barcode, no barcode. I got to like this 9th one before I found one that actually had a barcode on the bottom that you could buy. Jesus Christ.
You should have just used the magic marker and drawn your own.
In conclusion, Loblaws, fix your shit. Your cups have no barcodes. They can't be bought until you put barcodes on them. Or maybe that's a secret plan, because there was like a 6-pack of them that had a barcode. But I don't need 6 cups. I need 1 cup.
1 cup to rule them all, and in the bathroom, hold water.
1 cup only, Vasily. Zach Martin continuing to lead as he has for pretty much, I think, all but 1 turn of this race. Honda 1-2 continuing. I think this is Zach's first 3D Speed series where he's competing full-time as a pro driver, which is interesting. Or to use the official term in ESR, an ace driver, which is drivers who have a platinum or gold rating within the ESR community. You can tell them in ACC by the white number plates that they carry. The silver number plates are silver, and the red number plates are bronze.
What would you have to do to be rated at like a cheese level?
Ooh, BJ Dice.
Wow.
Wouldn't recommend it. Wouldn't recommend it.
Sounds accurate.
He's someone that we absolutely trust to do absolutely nothing right. Michael Magus in the pit lane. His Honda for his service here. Is most of the field is actually going beyond the halfway point. I actually thought we'd see some pit stops before now, and we have. We saw Aaron Alexander and Magus is coming in, but it does feel like a lot of people are going a little bit longer than expected, not wanting to blink and commit to the move yet. Marcel Letelier, by the way, is caught up to the lead pack. This is now more of a 5-way battle with the Nissan Academy car in the mix. Marcelo, the Chilean Nissan specialist. I want to say champion because I feel like he's the only Chilean driver who races the Nissan exclusively.
And next season he's going to be converting over to a unicycle.
Ooh, that's unlikely, but possible. Possible. And Jeremy Reeder and Paul Riccobeni are going to induct into the pit lane. Mercedes v Audi, classic rivalry. Somebody else is coming in. I think that's Dan French in his Ferrari 488 Evo. See if Riccobeni can get a better pit stop than Jeremy Reeder. Also in, Mark Sabalski in the Lexus. Goes through the cars.
Chicago.
All right, so first off a pit lane should be Reeder. He was in first place of these 4 cars beforehand. He was the first one in his pit stall, and there he goes.
Yum.
And it looks like he is well clear of Riccobeni, actually, so an excellent pit stop by the Mercedes Crap Bamboo team.
Is the whole car made out of bamboo?
Nope.
Well, false advertising.
I actually don't know what Crap Bamboo does as a company, to be honest.
They craft bamboo. Where have you been?
I don't think that's what they do.
They make it out of other bamboo.
I don't think that's actually what they do.
Couldn't tell you.
Let's look it up.
Bet you it's dick pills.
Apparently, it's just a racing team. They
Okay.
don't do anything else. I always thought that it was a sponsorship deal with a race team that called the crap. No, apparently it's just the race team itself.
Which means legally that means the car has to be 65% bamboo.
Crap Bamboo was founded by Frank Yu and Daryl O. Young, who are a pair of Hong Kong
Hank Hank.
based businessman. Daryl Young is also a race car driver. They're active in GT racing as well as TCR. Formerly also active in WTCC. I don't really have an explanation as for what the name's about. There's nothing in this article that suggests that gives me an origin of the name. Wayne Hutchison and Simeon Naku are in the pit lane for services. That means that the two Hondas and Marcel Letellier are our longest goers, and the Hondas are going to pit together. That's surprising. Whoa, that looked like a sloppy entry. Zandvoort is known for its penalties on pit lane. The race leader is in. So is the championship leader. And Marcel Letellier is the overcut king. He is taking the lead. Congratulations, Marcel Letellier. I tip my hat to you because you have overcut Max Simmons. I didn't think I'd see the day.
I think Max Simmons is getting pretty conservative at his old age.
You mean as the youngest driver on the grid?
Yep. Now that he's, 12?
I believe he's the youngest driver by a long shot, actually, on this grid. I don't know how old Aaron Alexander or Marcel Letellier are, but I have a rough idea for everybody else. Max is definitely a fair bit younger, and indeed, Zach Martin with the stop-go penalty, speeding in the pit lane.
Womp womp.
Comes out ahead of... Still does manage to come out ahead of Max Simmons, but that will be temporary. Jeremy Reeder in the background. So the overcut not really doing anything for the Honda boys. Because it looks like, actually, to be honest, if Zach had not sped in the pit lane, Reeder might have had a shot at him. Because he is right there. Let's see if there's any other winners or losers in the pit lane battle. Not really. Aaron Alexander has fallen to the back of the pack, but I can give a slight spoiler there. He pitted with some damage, so that was not a slow pit stop necessarily, just a pit stop where they had to handle some business. Some heavy lifting.
Some Chevy lifting?
Marcel Letellier in the pit lane and out of the lead. We will see if Zach Martin serves his penalty here and if Max Simmons will move to the front.
Moving on up.
Into the Audi S.
I had to go get hot dog buns a little earlier because I woke up this morning and pretty obvious the cat had got in through the window and wandered around my place, left dirty little cat tracks everywhere, and got into my hot dog buns.
Marcelo rejoins in 5th place, and we have a stop-go penalty for Marcelo Letellier. Looks like the two race leaders have made the same mistake. We'll have to serve a stop-go penalty. Zach Martin, by the way, staying out there. A little bit surprising. Martin is staying out there ahead of teammate Max Simmons, despite the fact that he has a stop-go penalty.
But what if they go in and stop? Oh wait, that's why they got the penalty.
This has been a very good day for Max Simmons, actually, because now his two main championship contenders have both had misfortune. Marcelo with the stop-go penalty and Aaron Alexander with some damage earlier. So, and Dan French has had a bit of a rough day, so he's actually going to extend his championship lead by a fair bit, because as it stands, the podium would be rounded out by Reeder, who missed Silverstone and only finished 8th at Spa, and Paul Riccobeni, who's had a pretty unfortunate season, and that would be your podium right now.
And Paul puts them all in the wall, and then wins.
On board with Zach Martin, or technically speaking, we're on the trunk of Zach Martin. You can It's in use for another lap. He will have to pit next lap to serve his stop-go penalty. Just put up his best lap of the race, a 36 flat. Enviable, but I think faster can be done. I think 35s are definitively possible.
I believe that if you're not doing 12-second laps, you're just not trying.
I have no idea what track you would do a 12-second lap on.
All of them. You just have to be fast enough.
It is not an option there. Hop on board with Michael Magus. Not really sure why. He's moved into 5th place, or 6th place. Effectively 5th, because he still has Martin to clear once he comes in for his penalty. Back with Zach. He will have to pit this time. It's interesting that the team has not ordered him to let Max Simmons through, or didn't just order him to get in the pits right away and let Max show off his class.
Well, maybe he had to go to class. He's still in school.
Yes, but this is late in the evening. I think he's got...
Maybe he's got night school. Maybe he's just dedicated.
Dedicated.
Maybe he's trying to become a doctor. He's going to be the next Doogie Howser.
We do actually have one racer who is trying to become a doctor, Ayrton Arsenault, who is on a leave from ESR events to attend medical school.
He's not
we wish him the best.
Doctor of philosophy.
As Zach Martin heads it. No, I believe he is a medical doctor. Zach Martin in to serve the stop-go penalty. Zandvoort does tend to produce those. Mark Sobalski, our first really good look at his car today. Lexus Past custom livery. Modeled after the Ken Block Hoonigan division racing liveries. And behind him is the Aston Martin of Wayne Hutchison. It's not too late to join the 3D Speed Grid, by the way, for anyone who's looking to join. The season is only 3 races in, and we got 4 more to go. So feel free to pop in, register over on Race App, and give me a shout over on the ESR Discord. We can bulk this grid up a little bit. It's a good grid. It's a pretty tight grid, actually. Pretty clean racing grid so far. I think our penalties have been remarkably low, actually, coming into today. Total series penalties, none. Although I don't think that's actually the case. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure there was a penalty back at Spa for Dominic Turcotte that I think was not implemented in a collision at the start.
I've actually been penalizing everybody.
Oh, Sabine Niku. Off track. Battling with fellow BMW racer Aaron Alexander. Newcomer to the series. Looks like there's some damage has been sustained on the row racing car of Nuku. See the front end looking a little worse for wear. And a little bit of twitch to the car as well. So there's probably some damage to the suspension. I do like that livery though. The gold and the midnight sheen. Very nice.
It's green and purple.
No, that's the one behind. I'm talking about the one we're on. The camera's on.
I can't see that. All I can see is his face.
Well, there you go. That's it there.
Yeah, it's just brown.
Around the outside of his Tarzan, Alexander tries to get through. Might get there yet, but the inside line to the next turn is Decouz. A little touch there. Just a little borderline defense by the transplant in Montreal, Simeon Niku. Battling fiercely over 9th place and a lot of points. Simeon missed Spa Francorchamps, which unfortunately has really kind of handicapped his season. He had a good run at Silverstone up until suffering some significant damage and ending up, unfortunately, only in 12th place. Sits 15th in standing. Aaron Alexander is second, courtesy of a second at Silverstone and a fourth at Spa. And having a bit of a come down to earth here moment, as it looks like Zandvoort is not necessarily his forte. Looking to the inside of Tarzan this time. Tried the outside last lap. Has the inside this lap. And I think Aaron Alexander is going to get through on that. Yes, he will. It's 9th place for the championship contender. Simmons has cracked the whip out. He's now 4.6 seconds ahead of Jeremy Reeder. I did think that he had a lot of pace, that he was kind of keeping cooped up by trailing the car of... Excuse me, I had to burp there. Of Zach Martin. Martin, by the way, has rejoined in 8th place after his stop-go penalty. Let's see if he can hunt down Wayne Hutchison or Mark Sobalski as we go through here. Probably not. 15.5 seconds. It's going to be a tough ask with 4.5 minutes to go in the race.
So he had to go stop because of the stop-go?
He did. Marcel Letelier catching up to Simeon Nakut. We'll see if the Nissan gets a shot at a top 10 here. I was going to make a comment about Dan French being in an Audi sandwich, and I realized the problem is that sandwich is just all kinds of wrong. It's got Italian meat and German bread. I would prefer the other way around.
I mean, either seems fine.
I'm not saying either is a bad option. I just say it's a better option to have like some nice German kielbasa and Italian fine baked bread.
No, you go for some good. I was going to say Hungarian, that's not right. Bavarian rye bread, and you get some nice mortadella, some mayo.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
See, you've done it all wrong. Or you get the calabrese, muy picante. The lettuce again.
I just prefer Italian bread, sir.
Racist.
It has nothing to do with race.
Dietary racism, right here.
Culinary racism, technically.
Two things Germans do well: lists, efficiency, bread, and beer.
There's some other things.
Yeah, but we don't talk about those.
I wasn't even talking about those.
Wow, now he's talking about that.
I mean, think about the number of German-made race cars on this track right now. Max Simmons is in a German-made race car. Jeremy Reeder's in one. Paul Riccobeni, Michael Magus, Mark Sobalski, not Wayne Hutchison, Zach Martin, Aaron Alexander, Simeon Nakut, all German-based automotive divisions.
What about that widely regarded Italian firm of Toyota?
No. Should be mentioned, someone's going to be like, but you just listed two Hondas as being German cars. True that Honda is, of course, a Japanese company, and most of their cars commercially are built in Japan. But the race car division is actually in Germany, so there you go. And of course, Mercedes, Audi, and BMW, well known German car companies.
Actually, they're all in Belgium.
In fact, Lexus actually even has their racing division based out of Germany. Otherwise, we have the Italian-based Ferrari and the English-based Aston Martin. And Japanese-based Nissan. By the way, Letelier up at the top 10. He has overtaken Simeon Naku. We did not see that on camera, but it has been done.
It has been done.
3 rounds into the season, Naku's going to have no top 10s as it stands. Despite having had a top 10 qualifying pace each time out. It's been some rough races for him. Hopefully he gets it together for Nürburgring. Can Wayne Hutchison find his way past Mark Sobalski? I think that's the last question we have on the table.
What kind of table are we talking about? Like round table, ovular?
It's kind of a round table, I guess, at this point.
Okay, the leader is on the final lap now.
It's made out of press board, or is it nice hardwood?
Max Simmons has made his way onto the last lap. Well, this one's more like a tarmac table. So Simmons on the final lap means that these guys have 2 more times over the final stripe. We'll see if Wayne can get it done with 1 lap to go. Wayne Hutchison kind of have
that all of these cars now run on zucchini.
Oh, it would make zucchini an incredibly valuable cash crop.
I mean, it's not good for eating, so might as well make it do something.
I don't mind it, but I'm not a big fan.
Disgusting. It's like somebody took oh, these cucumbers are nice and crisp and refreshing.
I do much prefer a cucumber. Oh no, Aaron Alexander is slowing down. Has he run out of gas?
Maybe.
He's creeping around for the pits. I think he's run out of gas. Championship contender Aaron Alexander is absolutely... He's not going to even make it to the pits.
You got pwned.
He has come up 1 lap short on the gas.
Somebody give him a push.
1 lap and change, actually. There's Max Simmons, the race winner, coming across the line. He gets to wave at Aaron Alexander as he goes through. And the smoke canisters are deployed here at Zandvoort. Now, I will say this game is highly inaccurate with smoke dispensation at Zandvoort because it would all be orange smoke, I assure you. There would not be multiple colors. Michael Magus comes across the line in 5th place. 2nd consecutive 5th place for him. We're just waiting for the checkered flags for Zach Martin. By the way, Mark Sobalski did hang on to 6th place against Wayne Hutchison. Zach Martin in 8th. Letelier and Naku will round off the top 10, and Aaron Alexander will finish in 11th place. Ooh, Byron, buy me some time here because I need to do a quick adjustment on the scoring before we roll.
Oh my god. It's what car drinkers drink when they're not drinking cars. Motul. Anybody who doesn't know, I don't even know if they advertise it anymore. There's this beer substitute, like non-alcoholic beer called O'Doul's, and that was their whole thing. That was their push. When I was a kid, they had commercials for it. What beer drinkers drink when they're not drinking beer. I think it's still available. It's still out there, but.
All right.
Every time I see that Motul thing on a car, that's all I think about.
Interesting. Championship rundown after Zandvoort. Max Simmons with a perfect score, 135 points. Dan French is in 2nd place on 88. Marcel Letelier is on 78 points in 3rd place. 75 for Aaron Alexander, and 60 for Paul Riccobetti. That is your top 5. In the Teams Championship, Overclock Racing HPD leads the way on 151 points from 132 for WRT Motorsports, and 905 Racers are on 100 points. That's your top 3. In the silver category, Wayne Hutchison leads the championship, but with 19 points to Michael Magus' 18 points, and Jeremy Reeder's 16 points, and Connor Costantini's 14 points, and Oscar Tan's 12, and Simeon Naku's 10. What I'm saying is, it's a really freaking close battle in the silver championship. It's a 6-way fight for the crown. And Mark Sabalski dominating the Bronze Cup. After this round, we'll be off to Nürburgring next up on the calendar, followed by the doubleheader in Italy at Imola and Monza, and Spain's Barcelona.
Barcelona. Bring me back some chorizo.
Indeed. Byron, do you have any final thoughts on today's race?
La llama una es quadrúpedo.